Okay, so manifestation was step one in how I was able to get what I wanted really quickly. And the manifestation, just to recap, came from being positive and showing gratitude in every situation, even on my worst days, trying to find gratitude. Step two, and I feel like this one's probably the most important part because it ties into the manifestation, but it really brings it to reality, is visualization. And I mean, you've probably heard of this technique. And if you've ever read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, you've definitely heard of this technique, or I hope you read the book through. If you did, you got to this point, but a lot of the examples he used were, way back when. They don't really apply to today's like opportunities. And so I kind of utilized what he said, but I turned it into modern examples. And how I did that was, for example, when I wanted a promotion in my last company, each uh, tier of leadership wears a different colored. They also say different things on the back of those vests. So whenever I wanted a promotion, whenever I felt like I was ready for one, I started to visualize myself wearing that next level leadership vest. I started visualizing the words on the back of that vest. I started visualizing the different types of people that would come up to me and the different types of questions they would ask me as opposed to the ones they asked me in current level of leadership. And really, it would only ever take me like a month or two to get to that next level once I really started visualizing it consistently. And I do mean consistent, I mean every day. I would get to work, I would put on my vest, and I would imagine it as the next vest. And I would walk in, and when people would come up to me and ask me questions, I would envision myself as that next level leadership, helping by answering as many questions as I could. But also knowing I had more knowledge if they had more questions, if they had higher level questions, if they had more difficult questions. I constantly pictured myself in those situations every day for like 2 months. And then I got the promotion. I was serious about it though. And like it also had to be a realistic goal though. I tell people that all the time. I said when you're visualizing something that you want to achieve it quickly, make sure it's actually something within your reach. Like you can't be a marketing assistant and you're visualizing yourself as a heart surgeon. Like that that is something that could definitely happen in your future. If that's really something you want, something you're passionate about. Let's say maybe you're a marketing assistant, but like you're still in school and you're in school for medical and like you're planning to do residency in a year. It seems like a lot. It seems a little far-fetched, but I won't say it's possible. Many people go back to school. They get a degree for something, they get out there and they're like, actually, no, this is not what I do. I don't like this. I'm going back. I want to do something else. So it's definitely in your future. But if it's something you want quickly, it has to be realistic. It has to be within your reach. Like, let's say you're a marketing assistant and you're telling people, yeah, I'm about to be a marketing director next. But in between marketing assistant and marketing director, there's marketing specialist, there's senior marketing specialist, there's marketing manager, and then there's marketing director. That's a big jump. I think that's a big jump, unless your parents own the company and you get the quick door entry from getting your feet wet to being a full blown Olympic swimmer. You got to be a little bit more realistic. So another thing I would do is when I was in leadership, I would buy business cards and I'd put my name and info on them and I'd put my title as that next level up leadership. So if I was that marketing assistant and the next level up was marketing specialist, my business cards would say marketing specialist. And I would go around to like networking events or casual outings. Maybe I'm out at a big park in the city walking around, I bump into someone, we're having good, interesting conversation, And they're like, "Oh yeah, what do you do, by the way?" I'm pulling my business card. Introduce myself and say, "Yeah, I'm a marketing specialist for XYZ company. Um, I've been there so and so years. I really like it. I've been moving up in the company, and I see myself moving up some more. But if you ever have any marketing needs, questions, concerns, or any questions about the company, reach out to me. Let me know." This is a complete stranger, but now this stranger has you on their mind and they have this impression that this is your title. So if they go later on and tell someone, "Oh, hey, I met this nice person at the park. Their name was so and so, they work for XYZ company. Oh, yeah, and they're a marketing specialist." You're not yet, but you've introduced yourself as one, and now you have all these other people that are envisioning you as one, and they're telling people that you're one. And guess what? The cars just start filling. Now, I tell people when you do certain visualization techniques, it's best to do it to people who don't really know you. Why? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, bias. Imagine, telling your friend, "Oh yeah, I got promoted. That's why I bought myself this new phone." And they're like, "What? What promotion? When did you get promoted? Why didn't you say anything?" And you're like, "Well, it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to." And they're like, "Haven't you said this before?" And like, it didn't happen, and then you end up getting fired. And you're like, "Hey, stop. Woo, pump the brakes. I don't need that negativity. I'm saying it because it's going to happen." And they're like, "Yeah, it's going to happen, but like you gotta be a little realistic, right? You just joined the company. It's not gonna happen that quick." And you're like, "Well, we don't know that." They have no ill intentions. They just want to make sure that we're not being too delusional to the point that we have to get locked up somewhere. They're just trying to make sure that we are paying attention to reality. And that's understandable, but it's also frustrating because manifestation works as and visualization works as something you're seeing happen in the present moment, even though we know in actuality it's not happening right now, but we're envisioning it. And like, in order to kind of stamp the vision and make it permanent, we have to continuously put that positive energy into it. Any negative energy pulls from the vision. You can imagine it like a puzzle. Each bit of positive energy you can add toward that that puzzle as a piece will complete it. But anytime there's negative energy, it pulls it away from the puzzle. Now you've got to start over, or you got to figure out how to get those pieces back when you already had connected at some point. And that's how the positive and the negative energy work and they balance out. And the thing is, from experience, it does not matter if the negative energy is a chuckle of disbelief, like a, "Yeah, okay," or "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen," or "Be real, come on now, don't you know yourself?" It does not matter. They all weigh the same. They all weigh the same. It's the continuous that causes it to win. So being continuously positive, the positive will win out. Being continuously negative, the negative will win out. It doesn't matter if the positive was like a whole day of just saying gratitude manifestations and then a chuckle of disbelief. It doesn't matter. They weigh the same in terms of energy. The point is to keep it continuous. So that's what wins out over the negative versus positive battle when it comes to manifesting and visualization. And that's why I say, like, you don't want to do your inner circle because although they may have good intentions and they may love you to pieces, they may be willing to take bullets for you, every now and then they're going to say something that just combats that. And like another version of people in your inner circle kind of, again, not having ill intentions for you, but just kind of wishing against something that you want is not exactly a bias. But let's say you're like, "Oh my God, you guys have this great news. I heard I'm up for promotion. This comes with relocation to New York. I've always wanted to live in New York. I've been looking at restaurants that I want to go to when I'm out there. I'm supposed to find out like a month or two if I got the role, and if so, like I'm going to be in New York. I'm really excited. I've started looking up apartments. Like they're going to pay all the relocation fees. I literally just sign my offer letter and I go. And I'm so excited. I've always wanted to live in New York. Looking forward to it." Like you're telling all the people closest to you and they're so excited for you. They're like, yeah, you're gonna get that promotion. Oh, I cannot wait. And then you have this family member that really adores you, or this friend that really adores you, and they're like, wow, that's great. I kind of wish they had an office in Chicago though, so that we can come out here instead and be by me. And you're like, yeah, that would be nice, but I mean, I can always visit you. They're like, yeah, that's true, that's true. I just wish I saw you more often. You know, it'd be really cool if like you got the promotion and could come to Chicago, or like maybe get another job where you're in Chicago. Just, because I feel like we don't interact anymore now that you're all the way out there. And I know you want to go to New York. New York is cool, but I mean, it'd be cool if you're in Chicago too. Yeah, they're like, yeah, but I mean, I really want to go to New York. I'm excited for New York. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I understand. No, I'm excited for you. I don't want you to think I'm not excited for you. I'm excited for you. And I know you're going to get the promotion. You're going to do. And like, you feel like the conversation ends there. But then they tell another person, like, yeah, Mike's about to get a promotion and he's looking forward to going to New York, but I really wish they had an office here in Chicago and he could come out here instead, you know? I feel like I really miss them and I love them and blah 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 blah. And they're telling their good friend and their friend's like, oh wow, yeah, I wish that for you too. Yeah, hopefully they do open an office in Chicago and he can come out here. And then they tell another person, and another person says the same. Yeah, hopefully they do open up an office in Chicago and he can come here. They tell another person says the same. Oh yeah, hopefully they do open up an office in Chicago and he can come here. 2 months comes, you get the offer letter, you're screaming, you're excited, you're like, "Ooh, oh my god. And you're reading through it, everything looks good, and then you get to the relocation and it says Chicago office and you freeze. Chicago? What about New York? This position was in you. You reach out to the recruiter, the HR person, you're like, hey, just inquiring about this offer. I thought the location was for New York. And they're like, yeah, actually that position actually was filled about a week ago. But we have good news. We're opening up an office in Chicago in 2 weeks. So about time you sign the paperwork, your background screening comes back clear. We can get you relocated to Chicago. Chicago? That's not where you want to go. You've been envisioning New York. You've been envisioning going to some bistro, some deli on the corner of some avenue, and now, now what? Do you sign this offer? Do you accept it? Do you hope in a year maybe you can still end up at the New York office? Like you want the promotion, you don't want to turn it down, but you've been envisioning New York. Why is it Chicago? That's because you had your energy put here in New York, but someone who loved you and their 34 friends had the energy of you in Chicago. That's another thing I don't tell people close to me. While they may have good intentions for you, they can still wish against what you want. And it may be well wishes in their mind, but at the end of the day, if it's not what you want, it affects you. And it could stop what you want from happening and instead cause what they want to kind of win it? So when you're doing this visualization, it's best really to keep it to strangers. It's best to introduce yourself with that job title to strangers. Obviously, you gotta be careful with this, especially if you work for a big company and you say, "Oh yeah, I work at XYZ company and I do XYZ," and they're like, "Oh yeah, I work there too, really?" And you know y'all got a directory. You know y'all got a directory. They can look you up and see if that's actually what you do, which is why you also want to keep it realistic. If you say you're the marketing specialist, but you're actually the marketing assistant, you can let them know, like, yeah, I just got the promotion. They haven't even updated my title yet, but I'm in that transition period and I should be there soon. It's completely plausible. These jobs they take forever to get stuff done. It's completely plausible. But if you say, I'm the marketing director, and they're going to look you up and you're the marketing assistant, how do you explain that gap? Now, instead of it making sense or being a possibility, they now instead just kind of know you as a liar, pretty much is what they'll sum it up to. They'll be like, or someone really delusional. And just like the people who were trying to give you the reality check earlier with their biases, they're thinking you should be locked up. So that's why I say at the beginning it's hard work plus a little bit of delusion, okay? a little bit of Delulu. We don't want to go full blown. Keep it realistic. Don't be the marketing intern introducing yourself as a heart surgeon. Because what if you end up in a conversation with another heart surgeon and they start talking to you about things and you don't know what they're talking about? It's not realistic. But if you are the marketing assistant and you introduce yourself as a marketing specialist, most likely you can hold a conversation in regards to what the marketing specialist would do, what the marketing specialist covers, because you're not that far off from the role. And you probably already have the experience. If you're introducing yourself as that person, as that position, as that role, I would assume you have some likelihood of experience to be doing so. Because it has to be within your reach. It has to be realistic if it's something you want quickly. If it's not something you want quickly, like if you know you're going to be a millionaire, but you're not expecting it to be today, you're expecting it to be like 5, 6 years from now, then go ahead, tell people you're a millionaire. Who are they to pull up your finances and be like, yeah, no, you're not. But again, just make sure it's realistic. And like when you do these visualization techniques, make sure that you unfortunately aren't sharing it with your inner circle. Like I said, they can have complete, honest, well intentions for you. They could be people who love you to pieces, literally would do anything for you, and still kind of wish against you just because they A, know you, or B, you know, want what you want, but also want something for themselves as well. We're human, it's natural to have a selfish instinct. It really is. There's no shame in saying it. We have selfish instincts at times. And it's okay because in order to be able to take care of others, you do have to take care of yourself. So that natural instinct to kind of be selfish at times is just a survival skill. And I don't knock people or shame people who are a modicum of selfish. It's needed. Now, if you're entirely selfish, and I mean like pushing old ladies out of the line at Walmart so you can stand in front of them, then you have some problems, and I recommend you go see a really good therapist. I used BetterHelp for a while. I completely recommend them. Please check them out. This is not a paid ad. No one is sponsoring me, but please see a therapist. But yeah, so that was the second step, visualization.